Welcome for joining us again this month. We're in February, and we're here with Miss Krista with Garrett Music. And we had some fun stuff last year, so we thought it'd be a good trip to sit down and talk to you one more time about the Music Academy and how often you help the children in the community here.
Thank you so much for being here.
So you were originally down Cheneyville.
Yes.
Was that the original Garrett, or was there a place before that?
That was the original Garrett, yes.
That was the original Garrett, okay.
So when Garrett started, it actually started out, my husband started it in a room of a house he was renting.
Wow.
So he had the living room set up and had one student at a time coming in and out. And eventually he moved over to Cheneyville Road, and we were there until 2020. Actually, we moved in here.
Yeah, very soon.
Yeah, 2021. Yeah. And this will be our second year.
Okay.
In the building.
And now here we're up in Dunkirk now.
We're now in Dunkirk.
Yeah,
yes.
right up. We're up in Dunkirk. As you enter into Dunkirk, we're right here on the left-hand side, heading south. Yeah, you won't miss it. It's the giant white house.
It's the big white house.
The big white house. So you said your husband started it. So then, how did you get into it then?
So I met him in 2006.
Okay.
And we got married in 2007. And I had been a musician before meeting him, okay. And I finished up my master's degree in psychology and really was trying to figure out what I was going to do with it.
That's
which happens to a lot of graduates.
That's right.
And he had just started the school 2 years prior, and he just said, "Hey, why don't you just come work with me?
That's
and
awesome.
We'll just be a family business." And I said, "That sounds good," because at that point we were trying to have our babies and everything. So we had our twins, and it got to the point where he wanted to transition out. He was kind of getting burned out.
Yeah.
And he wanted to go into theology. So he went back to school and I stepped in full time.
Wow.
Which for a family worked really well because we were a family business and I could bring the babies just to work with me and off we went.
So that degree in psychology. So last time we met, you had programs that we were running and it was like the COVID time where like the music was almost therapeutic and so forth. Is that where the mix comes from? Your background in psychology and music?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Because I learned that now my concentration is developmental psychology. So I knew what the milestones were for little ones. I also knew what would happen with brain injuries. I also understood what aging does to the brain. So with that degree, I was able to look at music as not only something that we do for fun or something to do for learning a skill for a vocation later on or something that we do for school for credits. I also learned that it can help with fine motor skills, gross motor skills, memory. With stroke, it's 100% that you're going to develop dementia. How do you offset that onset of dementia, or how can you slow down the onset of dementia? And just learning those things. Music is a perfect tool to do that. So I learned that those were things that we could do within the school in addition to doing the private music lessons. So now we work with children on the spectrum. We work with adults that have had traumatic brain injuries. We work with those that have developmental disabilities. And again, that's cool. It proves that music can be a tool for everyone, no matter how old you are or what your skill level is.
Do you find that certain instruments are more helpful for certain things, or does it really matter? Just pick up and play.
You would be surprised.
I would be. That's why I asked.
So yes. So my husband actually shocked me because as someone who was textbook taught and he was more rote taught, he taught me with those on the spectrum, the go-to instrument's the drum.
Really? That is pretty cool. That's my favorite.
I thought that was not going to be the case. So the first time he actually implemented this, we had a young man come in and he says, "I'm going to do like a trial of different instruments with him." And I'm looking at him going, "Okay, what are you thinking? Piano? Are you thinking?" I said, "Just stay away from string instruments. I think the pitch is going to be a little too high." Yeah. And he looked at me and he said, "Drums." And I said, "Are you out of your mind?" He said, "No, you're going to have to trust me on this." I said, "As soon as you have them hit something loud, it's going to be a startle, it's going to be a trigger, or a cymbal, it's going to be a startle trigger." He said, "You're going to have to trust me."
Okay.
So down they go, downstairs. I'm sitting up in my office waiting for something bad to happen, terrified.
No, you just heard drums.
I heard drums, and I heard laughter, and I heard a connection. And what I learned was that the drums are almost like a weighted blanket. And it's something that they feel within their core that is very comforting to them. And come to find out, over the years, we've had spectrum kids that have gone on to do jazz band, have gone on to do marching band, have gone on to be in professional bands. And that's where I was like, wow, you never can look at a book and go, that's the way it is. It's really just experiments.
And knowing the children.
The children. Now, would I hand someone a flute who may be on the spectrum? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
But every kid's different, and that's what I've learned, that I can't sum it up without trying something first.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, earlier you used the word school, so I'm going to talk about that you do collaborations with the schools here, the elementary schools and the middle schools, and you do a variety of things. Can you talk a little bit about some of the things you work with them?
So what we try to do for them is we try to add programs here that help support what they're doing in the system.
Okay.
So we have an instrument rental program, so we do that. So we make sure that the kids can come here and get the instruments, and we make sure that whatever the directors prefer as far as brands and styles, we keep those in stock. Just because that's what they're familiar with, and they don't want to have to stop what they're doing in a classroom to fix an instrument that's not up to quality.
So wait, different brands or quality, is that really what it is? I don't know as much about instruments as I should. So a different brand would be just a different quality. Does it make a different sound, or how does that work? Really?
Strings make a difference. So the quality of the strings you have on your instrument make a difference. The way the instrument is built. I cannot say how many times parents want a bang for their buck. I'm a parent, you're a parent. We want as much bang as buck, especially in this economy. But the problem is when you go on Amazon and you buy an instrument on Amazon, I cannot tell you how many violins I have within the first month here that are complete. That it would be more money to repair them than it would be to have just gotten something that was in the $400 or $500 range as opposed to $100. So it does make a huge difference.
I did not know that. I probably should have. That makes sense.
I mean, but
everything else is the same way.
When you think about it, I mean, you see your kid sees this beautiful purple violin on eBay or on Amazon, and you go $100. That's a great buy until the bridge breaks, or until the sound post snaps, or until the neck falls off, or until the tailpiece falls, and then you're back to, I've got to spend $400 or $500.
Which is what parents just want to get their kids involved and try new stuff, which is why the rentals are amazing, right? So if a young person can say, you know what, I'm trying the violin, that didn't work very much. Maybe a guitar, and they can keep swapping them out.
And then swapping them out.
Yeah, and it's
exactly.
affordable.
Exactly. You swap them out. Not to mention, if they break, you have insurance. You can always turn it in and get a brand new instrument. There's also, let's say your kid decides after 3 months that they don't want to play anymore. You turn it in and you're done. But let's say your kid does have a passion for it. Run it for 6 months. Then buy something. You know, that's the beauty about renting, is that you don't have to commit to one particular instrument, or you don't have to commit to that instrument that you're renting. That
is such great for the community and for all these supporting the schools in the area, whether the music teachers are, I'm sure, overwhelmed already because they have to deal with all of the kids, and so that's really helpful. It's appreciated.
But they're in the trenches, and they're all so good at what they do. So we want to make sure that we have whatever's in the classroom with them easiest. We try to make sure that we have on hand the books that they need. And then we try to do ensembles here and also private lessons, and we have them bring in their curriculum books, because whatever they're getting ready to do, whether it's solo and ensemble, whether it is tri-county, whether it's all county, whether it's their band concert coming up, we want to be able to support it so that if their students sound good, the community sees how good the music program is in the county, and those kids are, third graders are going, when they get in fourth grade, want to be. Fifth graders are going to want to get in the sixth grade orchestra and band, and then they're going to want to do the pit in the high school, or they're going to want to do the marching band. We want them, that when they're little, to really love music, so that when they're in school, they're sharing that with the school as well, and with the community as well.
Yep, that makes sense. And so, all right, so you mentioned the private classes. So I'm sure you get an array of skill levels, obviously. Like I've never touched this versus I'm really, the young lady when I stepped in that was playing the piano, beautiful, holy, she was really good. So how do you tailor those lessons for certain students? Like how do you do, what's that process look like?
So basically when you meet with your teacher for the first time, you come in, you tell, and the first thing we're going to ask you is, what are your goals?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Are you doing it for fun? Okay, well then we're going to go a different route.
Okay.
Are you doing it for school? Okay, we're going to go a different route. Do you like a certain genre? I'd rather play jazz. I want to learn jazz. I'd rather learn pop. I don't want to learn classical. Okay, then we'll tailor it to that. The most important basics that we don't tailor is we want you to read music. Okay. We need you to read music. That's really important. We want you to learn some theory. We want you to learn proper technique and posture and all those things, how to care for your instrument, how to care for your voice, how to care for... We want to teach you those things that are kind of we're not going to bargain on that one.
Yeah.
But as far as tailoring it to what you specifically want to do, we will do it, and we will. We'll write out the lesson plans for you. We'll find the method books for you. We'll find the sheet music that you want. So again, we want it to be fun. We want you to have a good time, and we want to make sure that you learn it correctly.
Because learning notes, it's got to be like a second language. It'd be the same as learning Spanish or French or anything else, right? It's got to be on par with that level of dedication.
It does in the sense of, do you know your ABCs?
Yeah.
If you know A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you know that you have 5 fingers on your left hand and 5 fingers on your right hand. Most people. Yes, that's true. You can learn music. Anyone can learn music. We're born innately with rhythm.
Yeah.
Even though people tell me all the time, I can't dance.
That's me.
Everyone says that, but innately you are born with rhythm. You are already born with, because in utero you are hearing a mother's heartbeat. You are hearing the outside sounds, and those are all rhythmic to you. So when you're born to the outside world, you still have that innate sense of rhythm. So I guarantee you right now, if I were to take you down the hall, hand you a shake your egg and set a metronome, I could have you playing quarter notes in no time. If you can count to 4, if you can do A, B, C, D, E, F, G,
you figure it out.
It's all in the speed that you want to do.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And also it's the amount of time you want to put into practicing. So let me say, I have a lot of people that bring in young children. I specialize in the young children. Okay. So I do get the 2-year-olds, I get the 3-year-olds, I get the 4-year-olds. And the parents will come in and go, how long should I practice? If you make a 3-year-old do 30 minutes of practice, that's complete torture to them because they don't want to sit there. I mean, there are outliers out there that can do that.
Yeah.
But I always say practice a minute for each year.
Oh, okay.
So if you have a 3-year-old, have them do something for 3 minutes. And then switch to something else and have them do that for 3 minutes. And then switch it to something else and have them... That's why in the classroom when I have littles, I do whatever their age is, I'm going to do little segments of something in that time frame.
Okay.
So I'll do 3 minutes of rhythm. I'll do 3 minutes on the piano. I'll do 3 minutes of singing. I'll do 3 minutes of shaky eggs. I'll do 3 minutes. So we'll do 3 minutes of something in that 30-minute increment of time. That way they think it's play. It doesn't become a chore. Same thing with a 7-year-old. 7 minutes of practice. 10 minutes of practice. Maybe you negotiate and say, okay, well, we'll do 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go beyond that because, again, they need that time in order to process, sit down, do what they have to do. If it becomes more of a chore, they become to hate. They come to hate the music.
Yeah.
They hate practice. They're going to hate music. They're going to want to quit. Gotcha. We want to make sure that we give them boundaries, but we also want to limit it in the sense that we want them to do things that they are looking forward to doing.
Got it. So that was going to be my question that you answered. So the follow-up and the interacting with parents. I'm sure you have constant feedback with, hey, they have been practicing or they haven't been or we need to do this. So that way the parents also feel like little feedback, right? Oh,
absolutely. You have to have feedback back and forth. So with a parent, you have to see what they're doing at home versus what you're doing in the classroom. Okay. And they have to go together. So we have to work together as a partnership. So whatever I'm doing, I need it reinforced at home. So if I'm trying to get I had a little one today, a 3-year-old that I was working with, and I'm trying to get him to understand that he's got 5 fingers. So on a piano right now, he only has one in his.
Oh yeah.
D D D D D.
That's
so he's doing C D E F G, and I'm going, well, let's do thumbkin 2 3 4 pinky 1 2 3 4 5. And when I don't have him on the piano, I told Mom, when he's not at the piano, just have him wiggle them and just say the numbers. One, or thumbkin 1 2 3 4 5. Just find something where he's wiggling each one individually, and he begins to remember that these are all little separate things. For them, that's practice.
Yeah.
You're actually practicing.
But he doesn't know.
But he doesn't know.
No, that's neat.
But he doesn't know. But he does know this. So how do we get him to learn that this can translate into this, to this, to this, to this? So
that's pretty cool.
And that's when we have to have feedback with parents.
Yes, and work with them.
And also understand each child is different.
Yeah.
So what I might have just said for that little boy may not work with the next one, and I have to get more creative and come up with something else.
Interesting. All right, we're going to shift gears a little bit. I know you're also very involved in the community, and I know your old location was a little smaller. You guys were typed in there. You have a much bigger spot now. You have much more space. How has that influenced the way you interact and do things with the community?
So now we have a music intervention program, which means that we can do more with those that need extra attention with music. So if I have students on the spectrum, or if I have someone who has limited mobility, I have space now to work with them.
That's cool.
And I have the equipment and the instruments for them to do those types of things. We also have our Find Your Voice, the mental health program. I can do that now where I have enough space where I can meet with someone privately, and it's quiet and they can talk and we can write. We've got now space to do music composition. We've got space now where we have a whole space now for a band to set up and play. So we have a whole, making the band camp and program where they can come in and play as a band, and we're not worrying about our neighbors telling us to turn it down.
Crotchety old man.
Yeah, turn that music down.
Your summer camp. Let's talk about that. Camps. That is such a cool program.
So we have Making the Band Camp, and that's 2 weeks in July, and that's when we have bands that we set together with a producer, and they literally create a set list, learn how to market themselves, and then we do a battle of the bands. This year we're also doing a music discovery camp, which is where little ones come in and they get to do hands-on with different instruments and learn about the different instrument families, and they learn some music history, they learn some theory, and then we're working on another camp right now, but I can't really talk about it yet because I'm not sure what we're going to do, but it might be an audition type of camp.
Neat.
But we have 2 programs this year. They're going to be all summer. One is called Musical STEM, where it's for 4 and 5-year-olds, where they're learning how music relates to math and science.
Wow, that's
and
cool.
How with sound and vibration, cause and effect.
That's
so we're
neat.
doing that for the 4 and 5-year-olds. And then for littles 2 and 3, we're doing musical tots, where they come in for 45 minutes and we're in a group class with them, and we're teaching them the basics of rhythm and music and sound, world music, different genres. And it's a drop-off class. These are both drop-off classes, so moms and dads can drop them off, go have a break. We'll have fun with them, and we'll return them happy and full of music.
That is pretty neat. So you're getting more involved in the community, you're having more activities, you have way more space. You're also doing other kinds of events. You do like open house type stuff every once in a while, and then you can also rent out some of your band members too, right? That's become a thing. So if somebody wanted to do that, what does that look like for somebody?
So if anyone is looking for a band or wedding musicians, they just need to call us or email us, and we'll put them in touch with our teachers and have them coordinate all of that. We just act as a go-between for them. I know that Brian Crow at Crow Entertainment knows some of our people, so he can also contact us if he needs us. And then as far as events, we have an Easter event coming up on March 24th.
Cool.
We're going to have our teachers performing, our students performing. We're going to have the Easter Bunny here, so you can get your picture taken with the Easter Bunny.
Always a popular thing.
Always a thing.
Probably some candy.
There will be some candy. We'll be doing some cookie decorating. And we're going to actually make candy. We're going to teach the kids how to make candy. So a little creative this year.
You make them in like shapes of like musical notes and stuff like that.
If it were my way, yes, but I think that Miss Jamie's going to be doing the ducks and the bunnies and those those types of things. So I'm probably going to lose on that.
No, that's fine. You got to pick and choose.
I got to pick and choose my battles, yes.
All right, so that's so many different things we've just covered. Everything from the toddler classes to teens to adults. Adults can come take classes too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Right?
Yes. So everybody. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the age. Everybody. I mean, right now we have, as we speak, an 80-year-old who is taking violin lessons now for an hour.
That's going to be me.
And his wife is taking an hour-long piano lesson. And they do it every Monday.
That's pretty cool.
And you know what?
They have fun.
It
probably helps them live longer.
Mental health wise, and it does.
The dexterity and
it helps them with their gross and fine motor skills. Again, memory. Mm-hmm. All of those skills come into play, and it does. It keeps you young. It really does.
It's amazing.
We've had gentlemen come in here in their 70s wanting to learn bass. Learn electric bass, and then start their own band.
Really?
Yes.
That's pretty neat.
We've had gentlemen that have created their own bands that are in their 60s and 70s, and they go around and they play in different places.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Stepping back one more time, you have the adults can come and play instruments and do so forth. How do you select or choose instructors and so forth? How does that process look? Because it can't be as easy as...
It's not.
Yeah,
it's not. Not every person that's a musician can be a teacher.
Yeah, that's got to be not easy.
It's not easy because a performer and a teacher are two different things. A performer is someone who can go out on the stage and give a really good performance, is an entertainer.
Yeah.
When you're a teacher, you have to kind of die to self is the best way to put it. You're putting everything you have out on the table for someone else to absorb.
Yeah.
So really, you're not just playing music, you're teaching them how to play it, but you're also a mentor. You're a sounding board, you become a friend. I mean, to be a teacher, you really have to put your full presence into the person that's in the room with you. And it could be just having someone who's having a bad day just jam with you for 30 minutes and let them talk out. Neat. It could be basically circle of fifths because that's what they want to do that day. It could be someone who just wants to talk, and you don't play anything that day.
Neat.
It's just knowing that you have to be, and you just have to be for that person.
And be attentive.
And be what you need to be.
So that process, if somebody comes in and says, "Hey, listen, I want to try this out," do you give them a period of hey, we're going to put you with some students? Do you hang out with them as they do their lessons, or how does that usually look?
So what we do is we do have them do a couple of trial lessons, and we sit in, and it may be me, it may be one of our other teachers, and we sit in and shadow just to see if it's a good fit.
Okay.
And we also make sure we're really careful about what age groups they can teach. Okay. So someone who is used to teaching teens is not going to be good with a 5-year-old. Or someone who is good with a 5-year-old may not want to work with teenagers. Yeah. You want to make sure chemistry is everything.
Gotta be there. Yeah.
Chemistry is everything in the classroom. And if you don't have the chemistry, no one's going to learn anything. Yeah. And they're not going to want to be there.
So if that's the case, are there certain, if you have a student that comes in and jazz, and you match them up with somebody and they can teach them jazz, but you're like, you know what, you'd be better off with Bob. He's going to be much better. Do you switch them up if that's just the way? No offense to the first teacher, but Bob instructor is just going to jive better with you.
Yep.
Jive. I use the word jive.
Jive. Yeah. Yes, if they jive better, we do, and we're very open about it. So we, if something doesn't gel with the other teacher, we'll talk to the other teacher and say, hey, it's a better fit if we do this.
Yeah, switch it up.
And again, they all know we interchange. And sometimes what we'll do is we'll do some things where we'll do switch ups with subs, because again, we are musicians, and some of our teachers gig out, and some of them have to travel. Yeah. One of our teachers every once in a while will go on a tour.
That's cool.
If that's the case, we got to sub out. And sometimes having that switch up is just the injection that's needed to get a passion going for a student that may have been plateauing and just needed that extra to go back up the scale, so to speak.
All right, so we've covered a lot of different topics, a lot of different stuff. Yes. If someone were to sit down and ask you your general philosophy of what Garrett is in a 2-sentence, not a ramble, a 2-sentence, what would you tell them? The philosophy of Garrett Music Academy is this:
that music is for everyone, regardless of age, skill level, background. it's in your soul, and everyone's welcome here.
I kind of had that feeling it was going to be something along those lines. Mm-hmm. All the things you've been talking about are very encompassing. They're very like inclusive. Everybody needs to give it a shot type of feeling. So that's wonderful. Yep. Do you have any upcoming events or initiatives, or you talked about the thing coming up in April? You've talked about the summer camps. I'm sure they can find it on the website and things like that.
Yeah, so we've got the summer camps up on Facebook and on the website. And right now we have promotions going through the end of the month of January for Making the Band. You get a $50 discount if you sign up now. We have a promo for the music discovery camp. If you sign up by the 3rd, you get a discount. We've got a Mommy and Me going right now.
Really?
On Friday mornings.
Okay,
yeah.
What's that? Obviously, mom shows up with their child, and they do.
So what I usually do is like it's almost like a pre-reading like rhythm type of thing where we work on. I teach rhythm like quarter notes, half notes, whole notes to shaky eggs, but we do it to nursery rhymes and stories. Cool. And we get up and dance, and we do all these different things. I teach them vocal warm-ups to start with because some of them are not verbal yet, so I'm teaching them and and ways to say certain consonants so that we can start saying mama and dada. And
that's cool. That's interesting.
And again, we do some sign language and stuff.
Never would have thought like that's the beginnings of it all. Like we just I take it for granted that the music really is just in everything.
It's in everything.
It's just,
music is everything. You go outside, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it in the birds. You're going to hear it, on your nature walk. Music's everything.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
All right, so one last question before we get to our goofy questions.
Okay.
Where do you see the future of Garrett in like 5 years when I come back to do this interview again? What kinds of things? Anything different, or do you want? What does it look like?
I would love to see our homeschool program get bigger and actually have a homeschool band and an orchestra. Okay. I would like to see our mental health program get even bigger. I would like to see our music interventions get even bigger. I would love to have a whole theater department.
Oh, neat.
Just a whole big theater department and actually have a performance space for that.
Oh, cool.
I would like to have bought this building.
that gets into the business side of the music
buy
industry.
The building. But as far as programming, I would like to have more young children programming. I'd like to have a whole theater department. I would like to have I would like to have our music mental health program even bigger.
Excellent.
And actually have like a whole spot for that where there's just nothing but bring on somebody else, and there's two of us really working to get more kids in here that especially teenagers and women and men that need that intervention, because I think mental health keeps getting ignored a lot. And I don't think people realize how much that can help.
We're just too busy these days.
Well, we forget.
Yeah. So there you go. We're on the hook. So in 5 years when I come back, we'll see where we're at. But that's wonderful things. All right, so our fun ones.
Okay.
We have fun questions.
All right.
And then we'll see how we go. These are meant to like give us a little more personality. Let's see where kind of person you really are.
Right here. Okay.
If you could magically make one food 0 calories, what would it be?
Cheesecake.
Any particular kind?
Cherry.
That's good. One movie you never get tired of watching.
Elf.
That's a good one. Elf. That's funny. If you could make one law that everyone has to follow.
Turn the bass down in your car.
From a music person.
If I want to hear your bass, I'll be sitting in the car with you.
Oh, man.
Because I can't hear melody when you're playing the bass so loud.
Your favorite cartoon to watch when you were a kid?
Looney Tunes.
They're traditional. Mm-hmm. It's funny, that's come up a few times, and my kids still have not watched any of them. It's sad. I don't know why I haven't gotten into it.
Saturday morning cartoons, man.
That's it. Where we had to actually get up at Saturday, you couldn't record them, or yeah.
Oh, and everything by Sid and Marty Krofft.
If you had to make a YouTube channel, not in your area of expertise, can't be music or psychology, what would it be?
A YouTube channel?
Mm-hmm. Not in your areas of expertise. I feel like this is gonna be a good one.
Honestly, I would probably do my own reality show. Yes, because my life, you can't even imagine.
Following you around.
I'm a hot mess, chaos all the time. So I think if I had my own little reality show on YouTube, I think that'd be
like the real music teachers of
Calvert. The real music of Calvert County. Yes. Yes.
If you win the lottery, what's the first thing you're buying?
This building.
Yeah, I knew that was where this was headed. Yeah. One place that is still on your bucket list to visit.
Oh no! I almost said Alaska, but really now it's Iceland.
Iceland, yeah.
Iceland,
I've heard.
And then there's a little tiny island called Smartberg that's right off the coast of Norway. That is the closest to the North Pole.
Really? It's got to be chilly up there, though.
It is cold, and they have the polar nights, but I could see Santa's workshop from there.
That's it. It's good to go. Iceland, I'm with you on Iceland. I've heard there's hot baths and things you could do and all kinds of fun stuff. I've heard good things.
See that. So yes, that's on my bucket list.
It is, too. All right. Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. We covered a lot of different things, and I've learned a ton about music that I had no idea until now. Because our last video we did was just talking about the things you did in your studio. We got a little more in depth today.
We have a lot more now.
So, and then we're gonna work on events together and things like that. So make sure you keep your eyes open for what we've got coming up. We like to make good use of this giant space.
Nice.
So.
That would be nice.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful month.
You too.
Try to stay warm, and we will definitely be back to work on stuff together.
Sounds good.